that's why we're here together today as a community. And as women who are leading very busy lives, we all have different commitments, different interests. We're trying to bridge all of these together. No doubt, coming together as a community that cares for ourselves and for each other and learn something new in the process is a great way to, bond with other women. So I hope you take something valuable back today in the process. And this is also aligned with Manipal Sakhi's Connect, a women's networking platform that invites all women to showcase their talents, skills, passions, and expertise, and also hold very crucial dialogues around health and wellness. And you can join us at manipalcommunityconnect.in to learn more. Of course, we'll also send you the link over email after this event, so do sign up. And coming to today's event theme, why did we take digital life as an overall topic? Now, at Manipal hospitals, the focus has really been on enabling a very seamless customer experience, especially in terms of digitizing the experience and making the whole process easy for the customer, whether it's in terms of first entering the premises as you did today, or it's accessing your long-term healthcare records, or even directly consulting your doctor through video consultations. And all of this, of course, is in line with how all of us as women have become digital first. So everything that we do today is digital first. But at the same time, this kind of digital life also presents its own challenges. Hence, we are here today to listen to a few experts, learn and share our own experiences in these interactive sessions. And if any of you are putting it out on any social media, you're most welcome to. Please use any of these hashtags, hashtag Manipal Sakhi, hashtag Take Charge, hashtag Manipal Community Connect, and you're welcome to tag us and tag Manipal Hospitals as well. And so we have, without any further ado, I'll go on to the program for the next 1.5 to 2 hours. We have 2 sessions for you today, focusing on 2 different aspects of wellness. First, we will listen to Savita Nanjappa, business and executive coach, on the topic of digital wellness, finding a meaningful balance where you optimize your digital way in a life in a way that adds to your overall satisfaction with life and does not just add stress to your life. And then we will hear Dr. Deepthi Ashwin, consultant obstetrics and gynecology at Manipal Hospital, Whitefield, on the topic of hormonal changes in women, a very, very relevant one in today's fast-paced world. So without any further delay, let me welcome and introduce my first speaker, Savita Nanjappa. Savita is an award-winning business and executive coach, a podcast host, and founder of Success with Savita, a global coaching company. Prior to starting her coaching business in 2018, she has spent 17 plus years in corporate India working with brands like Airtel, ICICI Pru, Tata Docomo, Novo Nordisk in sales, marketing, and customer experience. And that's really where she developed her entrepreneurial skills ground up. And her Success with Savita podcast is a business podcast that has featured a lot of eminent guests and has over 200K downloads. She's very passionate about female entrepreneurship as well as helping build and create more female leaders and CEOs. Over to you, Savita.
Hi, thank you for being here this morning. I don't know how many of you wanted to listen to digital wellness, managing your digital presence on a Saturday morning, but I appreciate you sharing your morning with all of us today. Before we get started, I'm just going to find the presentation that, yeah. So some of it may be a little small for people right at the back to see, but I'll tell you what it says. I said balance is not something you find, meaning you can't find balance, you've got to create it. And today's session is going to be a little bit about that, but here's the fun part of the talk that I'm giving today. It's not just going to be me talking over here, you guys just listening. I would like it to be as engaging as possible. So we're going to have a lot of Q&A. We're going to have a lot of, I'm going to be asking you a lot of questions. I'm not saying, and full disclosure, I have a long way to go in managing my own digital wellness, and we'll see where everybody else is in terms of time spent online. And yeah, so be engaging, talk to me, otherwise I'll pick you out of a crowd. So let's go. with that, today what am I going to talk about? Like Aparna said, I'm going to be talking about strategies that you can create to manage your own digital presence. All of us are online, most of us are online, some for personal reasons, some because of our brand, because of our work. How to cultivate mindfulness in our digital world, and how to nurture a healthy relationship with social media, which is a big one, difficult one, and to leverage technology to boost your productivity and success. And I will share some tips and resources. I may be sharing 50 things with you today. If you can even apply one, that would be great, right? If you can take away even one and apply it to your own lives today, that would be, I would call that a win for today. You've heard about me. So the first thing is, when we talk about the digital world, I think it's not going away, is it? Our world is only going to get more digitized. We are going to live in this tech world. So there's no getting away from it. So I think often we demonize it. A lot of people demonize it. But it's really about how you use your devices, how much screen time you spend, what do you use it for, how do you use it for, and how do you integrate it into your daily life. And whether you know it or not, it's already a huge part of your life, right? Right from the time you wake up in the morning, you may use your phone as your alarm clock. You've given up the old school alarm clocks. You may put on music from your phone. Then you may need to get to work. So if you're not driving yourself and using Google Maps, then you are going to be using a taxi app maybe. So we are constantly, from the morning till night. And even for our entertainment, if you get home, even if you're watching TV, you're watching Netflix, which is an app, right? So I think it's really integrated whether you know it or not, whether you've thought about it or not. Very unconsciously, it's just got seamlessly embedded into our lives. And it's just going to get so much more, right? I still feel like I was in the US a few weeks ago, and for everything I had to download an app, right? Right from to get a bus ticket, to get on a boat, to get on a tour, to order my food. And hotels are like, self-check-in. So it's going to be that way, and I think there's no getting away from it. My point is, we've got to embrace it, and I think even if we think we are not, it's already a part of our lives. It's here to stay. So what do we mean by digital presence? I'm going to cover this into two parts today. We're going to talk about your digital presence. We're going to talk about wellness, right? So the balance part of it. So having a digital presence means just being visible on any digital medium that will help you showcase your talents, achievements, and expertise in the workplace or in your industry. Now, let's remember, we are all not using it for work. How many of you here are using anything online for work? How many of you have your building your personal brand? Okay, great. How many of you just use it for keep up with friends, keep up with news, to keep up with what you know about what's happening in the world, just for fun, personal? Everybody? Nobody? Almost everybody? Okay. I would think most people use it anyway, and about 80-85% use it also for work, right? And there may be very few people who are not using it for work. You are using it for work, either to get hired, maybe it's LinkedIn, maybe it's something else. So what I'm going to talk about is how do you manage that time that you spend online, right? And the time that we spend online, is actually going in managing yourself, your brand, your work? Or are we just using it every day to kind of just, scroll and, figure out what's happening with the world? So I would say, if you are anyway using it for work, the first question you've got to ask yourself is, hey, am I using it to build my brand? Am I using it to support me in my work? Now, I'm not talking about for work. How many of you run your own business? How many of you in corporate? People who run your own business? Okay. And the rest of you, any people in corporate? Okay. Students? Any students here? Ah, nice to know. Okay. So I'm not talking about the day-to-day softwares that you need to use for work. Okay. I'm talking about when you go online for yourself, right? What is it that you do over there? So when we are talking about using it for building your personal brand, I would say use it to build your visibility. Use it to build your brand. Use it so you can actually build opportunities, you can network, build a community, you can collaborate. Today's digital world, even 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I couldn't use LinkedIn to build my personal brand and tell the world about how amazing I am, or what my achievements are, or even to share knowledge. Even if I knew something, even if I want to do a talk like this, I couldn't use LinkedIn, right? And we were using Orkut and Facebook maybe to connect with people. But we weren't really using it to build a brand. And then we have the explosion of social media, and Instagram is here, and everybody is running a business on social media and building a personal brand on social media. So our digital world has made it really easy for us to connect and meet other people around the world, to be able to do the work that we do, to find this new way of doing business which is so virtual, which is digital. Today you hear about D2C brands. Why is that possible? Because you don't need to. You can go to the consumer directly online. And there's so much more. We are learning, we are exposed to different views, we can access the world at our fingertips, which we weren't doing even 10, 12 years ago. But in the last 6, 7 years, and of course after the pandemic, we are all online. So what happens for those who are using it to build a brand? How many of you are using it to build your brand? Okay. That's about 5, 6 people. Okay. What about the rest? Do you all show up, post? Yeah, you do. Okay. So for those who are not using it to build their brand, what do you all do when you go online? What do you do?
I'm basically a mom influencer.
Okay.
I share my thoughts and my journey with my kids.
Okay.
Motherhood with and
So you are
lifestyle
already
work.
using it to build your brand. You're already using it to grow your brand. You already use social media as a medium to grow your
I'm
brand.
on
Okay.
Instagram.
For the others who are not doing that, what do you all do when you go online? Yeah, that's exactly what most people must be doing, right? Okay, so there are no right answers and wrong answers, okay? We all know what we do. So my question to you would be, why aren't you therefore using it to build your work, your achievements, your expertise? Is there a reason why you're not doing that? Yes. Uh, okay. Rest typically something around this. Don't know where to start. I don't know if I should. It's not important. I don't have an audience. XYZ. These are the reasons. Okay. So here's something that I will share with you, and you all know it as well. When you're visible, your presence and contributions within the company for your own business, for your own audience are known and are even highlighted. You get your foot in the door into rooms where you otherwise wouldn't have been able to get into. And people are going to be talking about you even when you're not in the room and advocating for you, saying, hey, this is the person that we should be, talking to. This is the person we should move to this role. This is the person that we should do business with. This is the person that we should hire with. So being visible online is really important in today's world. And it's the easiest tool that you can use, right? Because for people in corporate, your bosses are also online. They're all watching you. Your senior leaders are online. They're all watching you. You have people from other industries watching you. Today, if you want to get hired, the person who's going to hire you is going to go online and check what your profile is like online. So you need to make sure, and I would highly recommend that if you don't see the value today, it doesn't matter. You build the road. You build the hospital and people will come, right? So that's a big saying. So you build the road and people will come. So start building your brand today, because when you're visible, you attract unexpected and surprising opportunities. And potential and capabilities noticed and also perceived. People will perceive you to have certain skill sets. You already have a perception of people when you see them online, right? Because you're consuming their content, you're looking at them, you're making assumptions. And therefore, why not allow people to make the right assumptions? So, and if you're an entrepreneur, of course, we all know, if you're an entrepreneur, this helps you grow and scale your business, find your clients, and build your brand. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate, not the people who are already these rock stars here, how would you rate your current digital presence? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being fantastic, 1 being like non-existent. 1. Okay. 6. You can't say that. Okay. Anybody else? What about you? Just give me a number. Okay. 0. Who said 0? 1, 0, 3. Anybody? Okay, let me do this. Raise your hand if you rate yourself below 4. 4 and below. Okay. Raise your hand if you rate yourself 5 to 6. Okay, you've been in my program on genomics, haven't you? Why are you at a 6? All right. Anybody 7 and above? Our rock stars here. You should be putting your hand up, of course. Right. Okay, so if you see, most people are rating themselves below 7, which means your digital presence could do some work, and those below 4, you could do a lot of work on your digital presence. And just, it's not like you have to show up and make videos and reels and dance away. We are not talking about that. We are just saying, hey, just create your profile, put up your bio, put up a good picture, build your experience. Do you have a well-optimized LinkedIn profile? These are things that you can do. You don't need to overthink it, right? I still get LinkedIn requests where people don't even have a picture, okay? I'm sure you all don't do that, okay? I'm sure none of you in this room is doing that, but if you are, go ahead and change your picture out, right? Okay, now that you know where you stand, let's understand what holds people back. It's not that, look, you are spending, anybody spending 30 minutes or below on social media today in this room? Raise your hand. Below 30 minutes. Nobody, right? Okay, so you are online. So when you're online anyway, why not use it to also help yourself? Like, sure, entertain yourself, watch other people. I mean, Facebook works because we are interested in other people's lives. But why not also use it to help you, right? To build your own profile. A little bit. And I'm saying 5 minutes every day. So the reason that, there is a reason why we don't do it, right? The reason is fear. Whether you name it or not, it's fear. And what is the fear of, okay? The fear of, I can't. Do I need to do this? Why do I need to do this? Why can't they recognize me for my hard work? I am not, this all feels fake to me, yeah? Anybody resonating with any of these reasons? Any reasons that I've missed out? Okay. Right? I don't have time is a very common one. But like I said, if you're spending greater than 30 minutes online, we all are, then you have 5 minutes for yourself. Okay, so let's solve that problem first. You definitely have 5 minutes to go engage on a comment, to update your profile, to share a post, to share an opinion, to at least talk to someone or connect with someone. You can do that, right? How many of us are, okay, I'll come to this when I'm doing the wellness bit, but these are generally the common reasons. And in fact, I have a list of about 20 plus reasons. I've just put the most common ones. Imposter syndrome. Who will want to watch what I have to say? Yeah.
Or not sure where and what to start with. So I'm a social media influencer. I basically promote single mom's life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and very frequently I get a message or a DM saying where and how, the whereabouts, what I should be doing, maybe parental related questions. I see many of them are kind of confused
Yeah,
what to portray, what to change also.
sure.
That's
That's a lot of people as well. The point is, the reason I put this slide up is not, we all know we are afraid of something, right? None of us want to be criticized, none of us want to be judged, none of us want to be called, oh, she's just showing off. I posted about 3 events back to back. Lots of people DM'd me and said, wow, you're all over the place. Now, maybe that was something that I wanted to, then I was like, okay, should I be posting so much? But the point is, you've got to identify, and the reason I put this is for you to identify where's the problem right now. Okay, is the problem that you're afraid? We can deal with that. There's a strategy for that. Is the problem that you don't know? Then that's a different problem, right? Because then you can go and I can give you suggestions and I can give you tips on where you can start. Or is the problem that I just don't think I want to do this? I don't care. And the other people who are doing it are just, whatever, right? We call it. Then I've already told you why you should care and why this is the easiest way for you to use it as a tool to leverage your own success and growth. Okay. So the point is identify. If you see any of this and you identify it, make a note of it. Say, okay, I need to work on it. And this is my problem. This is where I am at right now. What should you do? Okay, you identify the problem. What should you do? And I'm going to be brief. Please screenshot it if it comes on your phones, if it's not too small. You want to first of all watch how you talk to yourself. You know how we talk to ourselves? I can't do this. Oh, I always mess up. Oh my God, I can't go on stage and talk. I just freeze. These are the ways we are talking to ourselves. So what is the voice in your head? What's your self-talk today? You've got to stop that, right? You've got to change that to a little bit positive. And it's very hard to do. It's very easy for me to stand here and say, and listen, disclaimer, everything I'm telling you today is very easy for me to tell you. It's really hard to apply it to ourselves. So let's start with the self-talk. One thing that you can do is not run yourself down. Look, the whole world is there to run down. You don't need to do it. And if the whole world is there, you have siblings, you have family members who will run you down also. So first thing is not to do it to yourself. The second thing is, remember this. Is there a time when you can say, I'm so ready and today is the day I will, or on this day, August 1st, 2023, I will be ready and I will start on that day. And if you're sure you're going to be ready on that day and you can start, go do it, okay? But nobody knows when you're going to be fully ready. So know that you're not going to be ready. You're not going to be like, oh, when I reach that stage, when I reach this level of perfection, that's the day I will do. We keep waiting, right? When I lose weight, I'll wear this. We've all waited for that moment. How many of us have shopped for stuff that we will wear when we lose weight, right? Yeah, I mean, me, right? So many of us. So you're never going to be fully ready. So you've got to start now and course correct along the way, okay? But prepare well. That doesn't mean that you don't prepare, because success is what? Opportunity meeting preparation, right? You're prepared, an opportunity comes up and then you're like, hey, I want this opportunity. And you can prepare. There's nothing to stop you from working on yourself every single day. So go ahead and start posting, but go and do some work saying, okay, when I have a podcast, I thought when I hit 100 episodes on my podcast, I would be like, I'd be fabulous. I'd be an expert. I would know how to speak. My 100th episode was in a live session like this, where I had to talk to the guest as a panelist and record live. And it was Nikhil Kamath of Zerodha, right? And I was stressed out. 100th episode, done this so many times. He was even more stressed out than me. So we were like, you know what? We are both stressed out. Let's just, go through this. I was not ready even at the 100th episode. So if I had waited after the 100th episode, I'm going to do this, not going to happen. But have I gotten better? Yes. Can I go and watch other interviews, learn something? Yeah. Can I practice something differently? Sure. I've done all of that, right? And so it's going to be a journey. It's never going to be a perfect starting point. Maybe there must be some people, or maybe Olympics, where they've kind of prepared for 4 years and they are ready on that day. But I'm not sure if there's, for regular people, every day there's a day that you become ready. The last thing I want to leave you with is, you get better with experience, okay? If you don't start, you don't get the experience. But when you start, you can keep course correcting. You can say, okay, your first video, how many of you have done shot a video of yourselves? Raise your hand. Wow, only all these rock stars here. Your first video, for those who haven't done it, let me be brutal and tell you, you will dislike it intensely, okay? I hated my first video. I hated my 7th. But I was a little better, but from the 1st to the 7th, I got a little better, right? So you will only build your experience if you start. So please start. And then you correct. Finally, that's your mindset work. So there are 2 parts to building your digital presence. First is the mindset. You've got to deal with it. What you do is a really small part, but mindset is a very big part of it. What should you do? First, set a goal. Like, what do you want out of being online, right? For your brand, for your work, what do you want? If you don't know what you want, you can just pick one area that you want to talk about and you can start. I know a person who is now one of LinkedIn's top creators. She's one of LinkedIn top voices. But when she started, she didn't know what to start with. So she used to read a lot of books. So she used to share her book reviews. And she started doing that regularly. And then she started adding on other related topics because she was in tech. So you can start with one place. So set a goal and start with one thing and then add on. You don't need to see the whole picture, right? If you're climbing Mount Everest, you don't need to see the peak all the time. You first need to get to base camp. Choose your platform. Depending on your goal, you will decide what is the right platform for you, right? If you want to do it for your career, LinkedIn. If you just want to use Twitter to build your personal brand, your influence, like you want to be thought leader, you want to build your thought leadership, you want to be on Twitter. If you just want to engage with your friends and family, it's going to be Facebook. If you just want your community to know what you're doing, what's happening in your life, Facebook. If you want to build a business, you want to build a brand, both LinkedIn and Instagram. And you can use Instagram for fun as well, but you can use Instagram for work. But primarily, if most of you are going to use it for your careers, you want to definitely be on LinkedIn. So choose your platform depending on your goal. If you don't know where to start, don't try to be on every platform in the beginning. Okay, you don't need five platforms to be a success. Sometimes people are just podcasters. They don't have any other platform, but they're known in the podcasting industry. And sometimes people are only doing on Twitter, right? Set aside time in your calendar. This is important in the beginning for all of those people who said no time. Set aside 30 minutes in the week. I'm not asking you to do 30 minutes every day. I'm saying just 30 minutes in the week, sit down and just do one thing. Just write one post, just update your profile. Just start doing that 30 minutes a week. Then you can increase your amount of time that you spend, right? Because once you start creating content, you're not going to be doing it live on LinkedIn or Instagram. You're going to be doing it elsewhere. So I would recommend start with 30 minutes and then you can increase it to an hour. That much we can all do. We're spending 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes a day minimum. Do you know the actual data shows that we spend 4 to 6 hours online on social media, not for work, over and above that, right? So you can do 30 minutes in the week. Start small. Just do one thing. Don't try to do 100 things. Do one thing, but do it consistently. Start with one platform, one activity. I'll show up every Monday. I'll create a post on LinkedIn once a week. Now, if you're going to tell me, if somebody came back to me and said, you know, I'm going to create a post, I'm going to do it once a month. I said, please don't do it. It's not worth it, right? Please do it with once a week. Then increase it to twice a week, and then increase the intensity of and the consistency of your posts. But just get your routine, your process right. Your thoughts will flow. Consistency is key, guys, in anything. You want to lose weight, you have to be consistent with your gym, with your diet, right? Okay, and finally, create a plan. I know another client that I worked with who started with, she said, I have no idea what I'm going to do, but for 90 days, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do something, like I'm going to talk about something. So she started talking about motherhood, okay? And she had just come back to work after her maternity leave. And she started talking about how she was struggling, what was easy, what was not easy, all of this. And she did this, she said 90 days. I'm going to give myself 90 days. At the end of 90 days, nothing happens, it's fine. I can step back. I can dial down the intensity. She did this for 90 days. At the end of 90 days, her company asked her to speak to all incoming new campus hires. They used to have, it was a big company and they used to have monthly new batches coming in, and she would be the speaker who would go from the company side and speak about, you know, managing work-life balance, motherhood, and all of that. She was asked to speak on a bunch of different platforms for her company outside her industry. She was invited just because she was showing up on LinkedIn and other people were watching her, she was invited. Now, all these are opportunities that can happen. Now, you can, 90 days later, you will come back and say, Savita, but you said somebody will invite me, nobody did. I don't hold that. But I'm saying these are possibilities. Now, you don't know what's going to come up. Don't even do it for the opportunities. Just do it for, I'm committing to 90 days. I'm committing to this relationship for 90 days. I can do that, 30 days, and I'm going to show up and do it. Make it easy for yourself. Don't make it hard. My next thing is just, it has to be easy. If you have to go and you have to like go outside, create content, travel everywhere, come back, no, it's not going to happen, right? You'll do it maybe once a year. Make it easy. You can use ChatGPT. You can use AI tools. There's so many prompts that you can find online. You can use Canva to design your posts if you want to, if you have the time. You can just write a text post as well. If you're making sense, you'll find your audience. And finally, engage with your audience one post at a time. Don't hit it and quit it. People just come post and they're out. Okay, if you want people to engage, you've got to give, and you shall receive. Engage with other people's posts. And I know that I haven't put it up here, but this is like a formula we share. We say, when you go on LinkedIn, use the 3-2-1 formula. What is a 3-2-1 formula? Engage with send 3 connections, send 3 connection requests, engage with 2 people's posts, not like you have to leave a comment, and just amazing to everything will not cut it. Okay, and congratulations is not it. Besides these 2, I mean, we see people who are like amazing, amazing. I mean, there's nothing amazing about what you posted even, right? Because they're doing it just to kind of. But what you want to do is, if you like the post, if you have something to add, if you resonated, please comment on 2 posts and make 1 post yourself. So 3-2-1 stands for that. So even if you don't want to do that, start engaging with people. People will remember you. If you came and commented on my post, I will remember you over a period of time. When you do it 2-3 times, I'll always remember you. And then when you ask me saying, hey, Savita, I'd love to talk to you. I want some advice on this. I will give you time. Because now I remember you and you have given time to me, right? So I appreciate it back. And then, 90% of the people will give you time. So optimize your profile, put up that good picture, put up a well-written bio summary. Don't be shy. How many people think twice before sharing some win? Everybody. Okay, raise your hand. I don't think the guy is raising their hand. And that's something we want to take away from the men, okay? That, women always think, oh, this was not such a big win. No, I don't care. You can use my name, you can blame me. Just go post, share your wins, small or big. Everything is an achievement. You may be helping someone, right? You may be giving hope to someone that day. Okay, now I'm going to go faster, all right? What do you want to do? You want to build your brand. Brand doesn't happen on day 1. It happens over a period of time. Use the platform to network, collaborate. You bumped into so many people here. You guys can collaborate. You can connect with people, and you don't know what may come out of it. And you can also become part of communities like our Manipal Connect, Manipal Saki community, Women's Web. There's so many communities that you can take away something from. And in the end, I always say, there is something that you know that someone else doesn't know. Can you share that knowledge? And I had this example. I met a blogger, and this was 2019, and I met this online blogger. And he used to have 30 million hits on his website in a month. We're talking about 30 million hits. Do you know what his blog was about? And he used to give detailed breakdown, and he used to make videos. Simple things. How to set up caller tune on your phone, right? Why? He saw his mother struggling with setting up caller tunes. And that was literally his first post. And he started sharing step by step how to do it. He was invited, and he just took off. Because the common man or someone out there, I am a graduate of YouTube University. What do we do when we don't know something? We go look for it. Even something as small as something going wrong with your laptop, you'll go look for it and fix it. There's so many things we've done by learning what other people have done, and you could know something that someone else doesn't know. And it does not have to be from your work. It could be something from your personal interest, your hobby. So go share. This is really important. We are doing a service to the world if we do that. Okay, what I want you to do now on your phones, if you don't have a notepad, and let's use tech well, write down one action that you're going to take today towards building your digital presence. I'm going to give you 1 minute. I want you to write down one action that you do. Just tell me when you're done. One thing. And of course, when you get back, for all of you who are not using this or any platform to build your brand, please build a good plan and start implementing it. Okay? Done? Somebody is writing still? Yes, no? Done? Okay. So no silence, okay? I'm going to start calling out people from the audience. Okay, let's move on. So far, we've spoken about why you should be using your online, why you should be leveraging your online presence, how to manage it. You know you can find time, and why aren't you doing it, and how to work through your mindset challenges. Now let's talk about really digital wellness, one our key topic, right? What does digital wellness mean? And when we say balance, what do we mean, right? It refers to basically how you use your different technologies in your life, okay? And we all know we are spending far too much time online, and we are also, wellness also refers to how are these technologies impacting you physically, mentally, and socially, okay? And we all know, is there anyone here who believes that technology is not impacting me, I'm well in control of it, you don't need to tell me anything about digital wellness because I do a great job? And if you are, I mean, congratulations. But if you are, do raise your hand. I would love to know if you're already fully in control of your digital balance. Nobody? Okay. All right. So the step one in this is awareness, because sometimes we don't take even 5 minutes to think about how are we spending time online every day, okay? I don't know how often you think about it. I don't know if I think about it a lot. Maybe when my eyes hurt, or I didn't sleep well, or I spent too much time the previous night, ended up sleeping late. Maybe that's when I think about it. But on a general basis, we don't think about how all the devices and screen time that we use and the time that we spend online is impacting our lives, right? So the step one is awareness. And I'm going to ask you all, so this is where you raise your hand. This is where we get engaged, all right? I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and let's see how we all fare in this room. First one is, raise your hand. How likely are you to use your phone before bedtime? Raise your hand if you do this. Okay. Most. How likely are you to use your phone first thing in the morning, not to check the time besides that? Okay. There's no shame in this room, huh? By the way, we all know where we are, so don't worry about it. Nobody's judging you. We're all bad in our digital thing, okay? And I'm definitely not judging you. So the next one is, when the Wi-Fi goes down. At work, we are all happy if it goes down, but I'm saying when it goes down in your personal time, how do you feel? How many of you feel mildly irritated? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you feel angry? Okay. I like the honesty in the room. How many of you are anxious, like really stressed out? How long will it take to come? Okay. And how many of you feel not affected? It's okay, it doesn't matter, it'll come back. Okay, nice. How do you rate your attention span? On a scale, on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being fantastic, 1 being poor. How many of you all rate yourself a 5? A 4? Attention span, great. 3, 2, 1. So many people didn't raise your hands. Okay, so your attention studies say 60% of the population struggles with their attention span and literally have the attention span of a goldfish. Okay, how often do you media multitask? That means when you're watching TV, you're also surfing on your phone. How many of you do this? Okay, lots of self-awareness in the room, nice. In total, how many different social media platforms do you use? 5 plus, raise your hand. Okay, 3 to 4. Most people, okay. 1 to 2. 0? Wow. Very, very social media savvy, okay. How likely are you to compare yourself to others when online or using social media? It's just a yes or no question. How likely? Mostly or never? Mostly, raise your hand. Okay, never? Okay, so most of us are somewhere in between. Sometimes you compare, sometimes you don't. Okay, great. How many hours a day do you think you use social media? I'll give you the options. Less than 30 minutes. We already got the answer for that. Up to 2 hours. Okay, 3 to 4 hours. I mean, what do you think? You've not measured it, you don't know. More than 4 hours. Okay, so 3 to 4 is where most people are, but I would ask you to turn on your screen time checker starting today and check it, and you'll be either pleasantly surprised or horribly shocked. Okay, right. How likely are you to check your work emails during the weekend or on your holiday? This isn't for entrepreneurs, you all will anyway check. For those who work in the corporate world, how likely are you to check this? Okay, nice. Let's get specific, shall we? So the point is, after all this hand raising, most of us need a digital detox, right? Or we are overloading. We need some time off from our devices, okay? That's something that you have. Now let's get specific, shall we? When we look at digital wellness, my tip for you is to look at it these 4 parts. You have physical health, you have intellectual health, mental health, and social health. And I'll explain what each means. Physical health, of course, pertains to, your eyes, your sleep patterns, all of this. Intellectual health is what do you use, how are you using technology, and are you using it to learn or develop different points of view. Mental health refers to how does the technology, the apps, the mediums that you use impact your feelings and emotions. And social health is how is it impacting your relationships. So let's go through this quickly. I'm going to do this in 2 minutes. Rest I'm going to ask you to screenshot, but let's do the physical part and maybe the mental health part we'll do. Physical health, how's your sleep on a scale of 1 to 5? You just need to make a note of it. You don't need to share it with me, okay? On a scale of 1 to 5, make a note on your phone. 5 being, I sleep amazingly well. 1 being, my sleep is really bad, okay? Where do you rate yourself? The next one is, how often do you experience dry eyes, headache, blurred vision, burning eyes during or after looking at screens on a scale of 1 to 5? Bad, like it hurts, yeah. 5 being nothing. I would really like to hear the answer from those who rated themselves 2 hours and above, okay? How often does your neck, shoulder, or back hurt after looking at your computer or phone, not caused from a related injury or illness, also called as text neck? So we are looking like this, right? After some time you realize, oh my God, my neck hurts, I need a massage. Rated yourself? Yes, no? Okay, I'm going to check all your answers. Those who are all like not seeming like. How often do you use apps or devices to track fitness or health goals? Okay. So I'm just going to briefly leave this for you. Physically, you know what you rated yourself on your sleep, which means there's something known as revenge procrastination of sleep, which means I don't have enough personal time, and now before sleep I'm going to spend a few hours scrolling, and that ends up being 2-3 hours just before sleep, or on Netflix or on some other technology. If you were reading a book, kudos to you. Carve out more time for leisure in the day. Create a bedtime routine. Switch your device to softer colors in the evening. I think we all do this more or less. Or night mode. Avoid screens 2 hours before bed. Start with 30 minutes before bed and then increase it. I know we all struggle with it. 2 hours feels like I can't do this, right? Turn on Do Not Disturb if you can, if you don't need to be available on the phone 24/7. Set a consistent bedtime. For your eye health, I'm sure the doctors in the room will agree, or they may have better advice, which is, if you're viewing a screen for 20 minutes, look at something away for 20 seconds, which is 20 feet away. Lift your device often instead of constantly looking like this. Lift it as much as possible. I know your hand hurts, but that's the point. You'll put it all down. Lift your device to eye level to beat tech neck. Take breaks often, and focus on improving and maintaining your eye health. Okay. Intellectual health refers to, like I said, how are you learning? What exposure are you getting for new ideas? How many of you all spend these 3-4 hours that you spend doing a course online, learning a language, any of these other things? Watching a webinar, watching a learning video? Anyone? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8 people out of how many? 50? Right, we should increase that number to at least 50% of the room using it for that. Now, wouldn't you be better off if you actually use technology to do some of these things, right? To do a course, to learn a language, to play a puzzle, to improve your mental, your brain activity, right? So try and use this. One tip is to try and use when you're online to do some of these things so you can actually make technology work for you. I'm going to skip this, but I would like you to screenshot these questions so you can ask yourself this later, which is on intellectual health, which also boils down to having different points of view and perspective. So you can screenshot this, and I'm going to move on. Moving on. Mental health. How do our devices make us feel? And we'll do this, right, live. And I think we can do, okay, answer it on your phone. Would you feel lonely, anxious, or stressed if you had to go a day without your phone? You forgot your phone. How do you feel? Happy? Okay. How many people feel thrilled to forget their phone? How many people hate it and go back home? Okay. How many people? The rest? Somebody goes back home, somebody's happy. What happens to the rest? Okay. Are you seriously going to be that happy that you won't go back home to find your phone, or you'll just curse yourself for forgetting the whole day? Okay. How many of you would naturally leave your phones behind? Not him. He's saying hi to someone. Okay. So 3 of you all. Okay. All right. How often do you take a post down because it didn't get enough likes? Anyone? Anyone who'll admit to it in this room? Sometimes. Okay. Okay, I understand that as influencers and bloggers, maybe you'll do that, right? You want to build engagement. Okay. Some points are given for that. Besides that, anyone else? Okay. How many of you all go back after creating a post to check how many people commented, how many people liked? Lots of people. I like your honesty. Thank you. How often do you feel jealousy or envy of something, someone online? You don't need to share this with me, but if this is a problem, please make a note so you can work on your mindset. Sometimes I do, but I don't get triggered by competition. I get triggered in a good way. I look at competition, I'm like, I'm not working enough, right? So if you're there, great. On an average, how many online interactions would you say are negative, where you end up fighting, leaving rude comments, arguing? If you do this, maybe think about your own mindset, maybe unfollow, maybe spend less time, all right? And finally, this should be something that you need to think about. How important is it for you to present a perfect representation of yourself online? If this bothers you, you need to think about it. Now, what I want you to do is screenshot this for social health, because you want to look at how your online time is impacting your friendships, and then we kind of do a wrap up. I've run out of time and doctor is waiting. If it is impacting your relationships, if you have more friends online than in real life, if you're not spending time with your friends in real life, unless they are out of the country and you're using technology for good, like FaceTime, Zoom, they're not in the same place, that's fine. That's something for you to think about. I've also put this up, which is tech that helps you build your productivity. You can use tech well to actually improve your productivity, sometimes to reduce your distractions online, and some that will help you just get faster. For those of you who don't know where to start in terms of your social media prompts, go to ChatGPT, just go to Google and say, give me some social media prompts. They give you so many prompts online saying, why don't you post about your favorite book, a time that you did this, a time when you started your business. There's so many options. You can use that to get started till you can think of your own original prompts and content, right? And finally, at least once a week, follow the digital diet, which is buy an actual alarm clock instead of using your phone, so you can put it outside your room. On the weekend, take time off to detox. Move, get outdoors, be in nature. Use an actual camera to take pictures instead of only using your phone. I know it's easy, but it's a novelty. Try it. Support. Tell other people that you're detoxing, so they can join you. It can be a movement. I have a French client, and this is an Indian person who lives in France, and she's like, oh, this Saturday, they all have this detox downtime. The French are very particular about digital detox. I said, wow, so something to learn. Time limits, implement your own time limits. 2 hours per day is what I'll do. More than 2 hours, I'll do it the next day. Those are boundaries you can build. Set goals to gradually reduce your screen time, digital overload. Of course, build habits, which is meditate, stretch, journal, do other things. Give your eyes a break, look in the distance a lot. instead of always looking at your screens. So allow yourself to reduce your digital overload. And that's what I had to share with you today. Check in with yourself. You know these things already. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to give you gyan, but you know what to do. We're all adults. You just have to start small. And finally, write down one action that you will take today to reduce your digital overload. That's one thing I'd love for you to do. And if you do it, please tag me on social media. I'm Success with Savita on social media, Instagram. You can tag me if you do it. I'd love to hear, or email me or DM me telling me what you did for your brand or for your digital overload. I'd love to hear that. And with that, remember that you can use tech a little or a lot and still stay healthy. It's your choice. You can do whatever you want, but why not you do something that will help you? And of course, today's session was brought to you by Saki Sampark, Manipal Hospital. And finally, thank you, Manipal Hospital, for the opportunity and for allowing me to speak for so long. And thank you, Women's Web. With that, thank you. If you have any questions, happy to take it. I'm going to be here. We can do it post-session. But thank you for your time. And good luck with your digital balance and wellness. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Savita. It was lovely listening to you. I think all of us would have taken away something valuable from that. I'll just share one of the things that I really like, where you spoke about, you do get better with experience, but you don't get the experience until you start.
Yeah.
So that was, I think, something for all of us to take back today, that, all of us have to begin somewhere if we want the experience to keep getting better. So that's something great to take away. Thank you so much. We'll move on to the next session for today. Let me welcome our next speaker. We have with us today Dr. Deepthi Ashwin. Dr. Deepthi Ashwin is a highly experienced doctor out of Bangalore. She specializes in gynecology and obstetrics with an experience of over 10 years. She provides lactation counseling, contraception advice, fertility treatment, various growth scans, as well as other gynecological services. And she specializes in high-risk pregnancies and laparoscopic surgical procedures. And she's given various talks around common topics around women's health. And she's also talked in a women's health program called Vaginal Dialogues about women's health issues such as menstruation, fibroids, and high-risk pregnancies. Thank you so much, Dr. Deepthi. We'll now welcome you to talk about hormonal health and changes in women.
Thank you all. Am I audible to everybody, or should we do without a mic? Welcome. Oh, with the line. Good afternoon, everybody. I thought we could have an interactive session about, instead of me talking, because we have various age groups here. So instead of talking about a particular age group or dealing with just one or two particular issues in a woman's life, I thought we could make it more interactive and for me to clear out any questions that you would have had in your mind, something that you would want to discuss and haven't had the time or opportunity up to now to discuss. Any questions from the audience, please?
So I'll just repeat the question. So I've been advised to insert Mirena after endometriosis cyst and the surgery is done. But it does raise a lot of anxiety around it because I'm not sure how it works on the body and how does it impact the, how does the body react when there's no periods and everything. Right now, of course, there's the other progesterone that I'm on instead of the IUD. So if you could just share a little bit about that.
Sure. Basically, the Mirena is a medicated copper-T, which we use for certain to treat certain disorders like endometriosis and just excessive heavy flow, or even for a contraceptive advice, we do use Mirena for certain patients who are keen on that. For endometriosis, basically what it does is it's a hormone that gets locally secreted in the uterus. And so whatever every day there is a certain amount of hormones that get secreted. And because of this, since it's a local action, it prevents the endometrium from thickening and, your worsening of your endometriosis. That's how it works. So it can work in ways where for certain women, they do get their periods regularly every month. But again, they may not have the excessive bleeding, or it helps with their symptoms of pain or excessive bleeding during your periods. It's not a necessary that your periods have to stop once you have the Mirena inserted. For certain women, yes, they can have this irregular bleeding, like a spotting issue every 3 or 4 months, or a minimal sort of a bleeding issue every 3 to 4 months. So it all depends on how your body reacts to the hormone that gets secreted. For certain percentage of women, they do not have their periods at all when the copper T is that's the Mirena is inserted. It does not have a negative impact on your body because it's not like your organs are working. That's your ovaries are working, your uterus is working. So it's not like there is a suppression of this, and that's why it's going to negatively impact. In fact, it's beneficial because it not just helps you with the disease, it even helps you prevent surgical treatment that you may need to undergo. So it's not, and it acts as long as it's there. So if it's something that is not working out for you, you can just have it removed, and then it goes back to being normal as to what you were before the insertion.
And when you mean not working, what would it be?
Not working in the sense your symptoms are not, it's not helping you with your symptoms in terms of you still continue to have pain or heavy bleeding.
Thank you.
Hi, yeah. So I'm 42, and I mean, at times, sometime back, I was having heavy periods, and when I went to my gynec, thinking it may be perimenopause, so Pravina, she advised it's not, but I'm definitely seeing some changes in my body. So, like, I would like, what are the advices that I must do right now? And maybe which I should do also, like maybe I can't do it on a daily basis, but I should keep an eye and try and do it. So what are the advices that you would like to give?
See, for women above 40, the metabolism of the body starts slowing down. So in terms of take care of your health, just basically make sure you're having a good diet. Good diet in the sense, because we're all humans, so junk is allowed here and there. So more of your proteins and cutting down all your fats and sweets and, your sugar content basically, and having a set form of a physical activity, at least 5 days of physical activity of at least 30 minutes of each activity is advised. It doesn't have to be a particular kind of activity. It could be anything from your yoga, your Zumba, your aerobics, to swimming, and anything is good for the body. So just the metabolism starts slowing down once you're entering into your 40s. So that's why women after their 40s find it a bit more difficult to lose weight than they would have earlier. So it's as long as you're maintaining a healthy diet and keeping your sugars under control and your other parameters like your lipids and your blood pressure being normal, you should not have any issues with regards to anything else, and get a scanning done, a yearly checkup with your pap smears, sort of advised as a general sort of health thing.
So
And
like I have generally I don't gain weight easily, but of late I'm gaining weight and no change in diet, and I exercise 7 days a week mostly. So but still this is happening. So I don't know what I should change or do better
Yeah.
so that that doesn't happen.
so if you crack the formula, tell me. I'm also sailing in the same boat. So, so it's just that we're getting older. So something that for us, for all of us to accept and say yes, this is happening to us, and as long as we're doing the right things, we should be okay.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, if I'm audible, I'll just ask. So I have a related question actually. So I'm 45. So I want to understand that, apart from your period actually stopping, are there like any signs of impending menopause that you can watch out for?
So basically, there are in India, any age above 40 years, a woman can go through with menopause. So the average Indian age is about 48 years. So having said that, we do have women going through getting their periods up to 54 and 55 years. So anything above 55, we need to investigate. So for a 45-year-old woman, who is in that perimenopausal to the menopausal age, so make sure that it's basically your the hormones are, in addition to sort of helping you conceive and get pregnant, they are also protective, cardioprotective, and then give you bone, protection for your bones. So these two which stop after menopause. So again, with regular activity and eating a good rich diet, which is good in calcium, like your curds, buttermilk, tofu, milk, green leafy vegetables, that should be, and ragi. These are all good sources of calcium, which you can have in your diet. So apart from supplement wise, if you're talking about, if at all you're deficient any of the vitamins, most often women are deficient in B12 and D, vitamin D. So anything that you're deficient in that, you can take the extra supplements. But apart from that, like I said, just your diet and exercises alone. If at all your diet is, you're not a particular person who avoiding the dairy products, and if you think your diet is not rich enough in calcium, then additional calcium supplements is something that we would recommend. And that's about it. We're not.
Okay, so I will be hitting 40 this year. Okay, and there's this thought that as we grow, like health deteriorates, and usually this is there in the world that okay, period is like just the next thing. Go and run for it, have your daily life. Do we really go like that, or do we think upon pampering ourselves, or just take a special care during those 3 special days of the month? Should we just take care of ourselves, or should we go the way women are actually portrayed in the advertisements, like some or the other people are like running around?
I wish life was that
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah, so there is this taboo that forget your periods, it's just the next thing.
Yes.
Is that correct?
See, as a doctor, I would say it is correct. But as a woman, I would say that, when we're there, there are a lot of issues that we're looking at. As in, sometimes, you're not sure of how heavy your bleeding is. So, you just get up and you look back and say whether you've stained something, all these things. So there's something that's working at the back of your mind always during your periods. So what I would say is, yes, as a doctor, I would say live your life normally during those 3 days when you get your periods, and don't make any changes with regards to your activity. And in fact, there are even studies would say that you don't even have to, you cannot even, if you do want to swim, you can even swim when you get your periods, because once you get into the water, the bleeding automatically stops. So you do have this professional swimmers who get into the water even during their periods just by wearing a tampon and things like that, and get on with their lives. For women who have issues with their periods with regards to pain or any heavy flow, yes, I would suggest that you get yourself treated, and make sure that you're not onto the other side of the balance where things are not normal. But yes, those 3 days, I would say just pamper yourself, and pamper in the sense, not by eating a diet rich in chocolate or, those sweet cravings that we tend to have during those days. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm heading as a HR for my company, and this usual request which comes, why don't we have this one special sick leave for this? I don't know how to respond during that time, but what should be the good way of responding then?
See, I would think that unless you have a medical reason to really take off during those 3 days, because there are a lot of issues that we women go through. Why only those 3 days? Unless you have an issue where you need to take off, then I would suggest that yes, take an off. But if there is no issue and you're okay, because it's not just your vaginal health or your period health that we're talking about. There's a lot of mental issues and everything that we're dealing with. So, and especially now with your gender fluidity of your pronouns and I don't know what not that we have to deal with now. So we can't sort of give time for every sort of change that sort of comes up with the newer generation or with the newer requests.
Yeah, this helps. Thank you.
Good afternoon, doctor. I'm Gayatri and I'm 42 years old. I have a very strong gene of cancer, this thing, from both of my grandmothers and my maternal aunts who died because of cancer. Now at this age, my periods are perfect and thank God, touch wood, and it's going great. But I want to know if there is like any specific test that I need to. Normal pap smear and the annual women health test is like in the thing. But I want to know, is there any specific test because of the medical advancement that we are having these days? Is there any specific test that can really help to know that if there is some chances for because this having cancer and getting cancer, particularly in the uterus, is very common these days. And I just want to play safe, maybe try to at this generation we can just take some preventive measures as to like
may I ask which cancer that they had?
Both my grandmothers had uterus cancer, and my maternal aunt also had got uterus cancer, and the other aunt, she got liver cancer. Yeah.
So basically, your cancer of the breast, ovaries, and uterus have these genetic tendencies to come forward too. We have these BRCA gene testings, which is there more so for the ovarian cancer and even certain breast cancers we can identify. For the uterine cancer, I would suggest that you have your regular internal scans, that is transvaginal scans, every 6 to 8 months, and a sampling of the endometrium, which these are procedures that we can do on OPD basis. So once you're about 44, you're 42 now, you said, right? Yeah. So about now or any time, every 6 months once, just to sample the lining and make sure that there are no changes. In fact, there are studies where, people have inserted the Mirena for such patients who have his family history of cancers, and for them it's been sort of preventive because Mirena has also worked in helping the endometrial lining in very early stages or changes which, the signs which actually turn into cancer. Okay. In those stages, yes, it has even worked for such patients.
I'm not able to get those test name. Maybe she has made a note of it. Yeah, thank you so much.
Welcome. Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I've just crossed 60, and at the age of 52, I had my hysterectomy done. Ovary was also removed. So that time, the doctor has advised to take hormonal supplements for few months, and it has stopped. Is there a requirement that I should take it later also?
Why was your hysterectomy done? Was it for a cancerous reason or a non-cancerous?
It was a severe bleeding.
Okay.
So,
and
there was fibroid and they removed it.
Okay. Yeah. And what hormonal treatment were you
hormone
advised?
medicines were given. Tablets were given for 3 to 4 months. That's it. Yeah.
At 52 years?
52. Yeah.
We usually do not advise hormonal supplementations at that age because the ovaries, anyways, at that age, like I said, that's the
No, ovary was also removed.
Yes, even if your ovaries are removed at 52, we're not looking at you sort of having the hormones again in your body for a longer time. So any hysterectomy that we do after about 40 years, where we've had to remove the ovaries for particular reason, we give hormonal treatment up to they reach 45, and after that we stop. At 52, it's not something that we would recommend as a
So
treatment.
there's no requirement to.
No.
Okay, thank you. Just a doubt which came to me.
No.
Thank you.
Hello, doctor. My daughter is here, 12-year-old, and she has like very dry vaginal skin and often itches. What we can do?
At 12 years old, has she attained puberty?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, again, it could be her the napkins that she's using. could
Actually,
be-
little background, since like 5 to 6 years of her age, she had a severe infection or dry skin there. So I had been in homeopathy treatment. After that, it stopped, but that dry patch like continues at times.
Yeah, so it could be just, I don't think it's anything gynecological. I think it could be some dermatological issue where she's just prone to dry skin. That's what we call as eczema, and that may come out as itching. So I would suggest for you to consult a dermatologist and then have her checked over. Because at 12 years, there is nothing that should cause an infection or anything for her.
Okay. Also, for me, discharge will come throughout the month. What can I mean?
Yeah.
Previously, it used to stop after few days,
Yeah.
but now it continues at
Yeah.
very
So
little.
any vaginal discharge that we have, it's unless there is itching or a foul smell in the discharge, it is normal otherwise. So you don't have to worry about that. So and only the signs of infection are your itching or a foul smell
Yeah,
discharge.
itching will also be there at times on the sides. So
Sorry.
itching will also be there on the side walls.
Yeah, that is an indicator of an infection. So where you will have to meet your gynecologist and have an internal checkup done. And once they see what kind of discharge it is and what the infection is, there are a plethora of infections that can cause vaginal itching. Candida is the most common one, and we will give you the appropriate treatment.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
I have a question around hormone management, right? What are some things that you would ask people to just do and as maintenance for hormonal changes? And I'm not talking only from a menopausal kind of view, but in general, because sometimes you hear you should take estrogen, someone says, okay, something else is missing. So how does it impact overall health, your bones, beauty, skin, all of that? And is there something that you can do? I mean, it could be even just meditation, because when you're stressed out, how do you? So do you have some advice around hormonal health management, if that's the right question I'm asking? Yeah.
See, unless you're really having any issues with your periods, we don't advise you any hormonal treatment with, extra hormonal supplements. So, yeah. So it's only your period issues that will sort of tell you if it is an irregular period and all of that, which can happen once you cross your 40s. So for a woman, if she is not getting her regular periods, which happens to a small percentage of women once they cross their 40s, it is still okay. You do not need extra hormones. There is an issue where you can have adult acne because of the issues that happens with your periods. And again, if you do have that, then just consult a dermatologist. You do not need regular periods. That's a monthly period of every 30 days after your 40s if you're not looking at a conception. Nuts are good for your health, your overall health. So yes, but nothing like a specific nut. All are good.
help regulate the thyroid gland, can help regulate the hormones. So yeah, so I think I don't know if it'll help.
That would be more like a yoga and a
Yeah.
Ayurvedic
Yeah.
sort of a thing,
Yeah.
where not under my sort of speciality for me to advise. But yes, you do need exercises in any part of the body is good, whether it is neck or any other part of the body. So yes, you can do that if you have any issues, and if it's helping you control your thyroid, why not then?
Yeah, hello doctor. So I just wanted to ask, when we do tubectomy, when you people do, so is it normal after tubectomy to bleed a lot?
No.
No.
Tubectomy is not a cause of your excessive bleeding. In tubectomy, it is only your fallopian tubes that are tied, and the fallopian tubes are only required for the conception. So, apart from that, it doesn't play an important role as such in the human reproductive system. So, once you have your tubectomy, it's not something that is secreting a hormone, or it's got no other function apart from the conception part. So it should not cause any changes with regards to your periods.
Okay, apparently after having that done, okay, I had a lot of bleeding, to which my gynec suggested me to take pause MF, and then maybe after a few months it will be fine, which became fine after a few months. So, but I didn't get a clear, though my father is a retired ONG specialist. So, but he also told me that sometimes it happens. Like after tubectomy, you tend to bleed a lot, and it affects, like the hormones are affected, and nothing is foolproof, he said. So I had another question regarding that also. So is it that after it is clipped off, there's a chance that you can conceive?
Yes, there is. There is a failure chance of 1 in 300 women who undergo the surgery can fail. And also it's important as to when you've had the tubectomy. Certain women have it along with their delivery during the cesarean, and certain women have it after. The failure chances are more if you have it done concurrently with a cesarean than when you're doing it alone.
Okay, I had it done concurrently along with my delivery. So, yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Misbah. So, how safe is it to use a menstrual cup compared to the sanitary pads?
Very
Because,
safe.
Since the day I have started using a menstrual cup, my perspective about the periods have completely changed. It's become very easy in my day-to-day life, but I don't feel safe all the time. Like delaying for a longer time makes me anxious about that. Is it
A longer time as in
change?
Yeah.
Yeah,
How often are you changing?
2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, you don't have to change it for every 2 to 3 hours because the menstrual cup, the capacity is to hold. It can hold up to at least 50 ml of blood. That again depends on your cup size and the volume what it is. Most of them are able to, which should at least last you about 8 to 10 hours. So you don't have to change your cup every 2 to 3 hours. You can wait up to about 6 to 8 hours before you can change the cup.
Thank you.
But people now this is the women generally they get this mood swings. Maybe a week near their menstrual cycle. It's a reality. Unfortunately, our parents also went through with it, but it's just that in the era that they were growing up, there was no importance given to your periods or any of these mood changes that they would undergo. So yes, it is common to have, especially after your 40s, to get into these, just before your periods, to have these bouts of irritability. So it is very normal to go through with that. And we give certain medications, again, which are not hormones, which help you deal with these mood swings. Yes, please. It is very important to give HPV vaccines, especially to the teenagers. So we have various kinds of vaccines right now. Right now, we have Gardasil and Cervarix that are approved in India. So we advise the vaccine to be given before the first sexual exposure for the kids. So if you're giving it below 14 years, we advise 2 doses. And if you're giving it after 14 years, there is 3 doses. That's given as 0, 2, and 6 months. So that's something that we would recommend to prevent the HPV infections, which again is another preventive thing for cervical cancer. See, like I said, the efficacy is best given before the first sexual exposure. So, in when people ask me in their 30s and 40s, as in, do I need it? You can take it. There is no harm in taking the vaccines. But having said that, you will still need your regular pap smears every 3 years. The efficacy, what would have been about 100%, which you would have taken earlier, sort of comes down to about 60-70%, depending on when you take it. There's no harm in taking it, but your pap smears are still a must.
Deliveries or having a birth control pills?
It is very important because it's her right, just like how she has a right to vote or drive or anything. It's her reproductive right of limiting her children, whether she wants children or she doesn't want children. So the pills that are there in the market right now have the hormone levels is what is secreted in the body. It's not like the earlier day pills, which had a higher concentration of hormones. And they are pretty safe. And we have girls and women who take it for up to 3 or 4 years without it causing any issues.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
The HPV vaccine.
Yeah, so like I said, if there's been no sexual exposure, the efficacy is 100%, which comes down and they can still take it. So in the efficacy is not got nothing to do with the age. It's got only to do
Yeah,
with the
so in case they have had sexual exposure, like
in their early
twice.
20s, probably it'll give them about 85-90% efficacy.
Okay.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Have anything else that you want to tell our audience, or any sort of parting notes or any final thoughts?
just live your life. Your vagina is not the only part of your body. So, so yeah. Yes, please.
Are we really thinking it right way? Many people are not sure about using bra correctly, right? So many people relate it with breast cancer sometimes, and they talk just in air. So what is the right thing to
That's
talk
an
about?
absolute myth, because wearing a bra or not wearing a bra is not, going to increase your risk of breast cancer just because you're not wearing one. At night, yes, we do advocate that you can, because it's just like how your skin needs to breathe. So it doesn't always, like, you wear a socks for 24 hours and, and after some time it starts smelling. So the same way with any skin area in your body. So you can take it off in the night when you sleep. Again, when you wear the underwired, and your underwired bras is not something that we usually recommend for you to wear as a long-term sort of a thing. You can wear it as an occasional wear, but not as an everyday sort of wear. Having said that, there's no studies that have proven that the wearing the underwired bras put you at a higher risk for breast cancer, but it's something that is advised. That's all.
Okay. One more question, doctor. So this is related to breastfeeding. My sister, she is in Canada right now, and she got this from somewhere that she was not actually milking in a right quantity. So she just took some medicine and she got overweight. I mean, to the limit, she got double than what she was. And then she is now struggling with her weight and rest of the house chores now. And is that correct way of milking your baby, having medicine, and then get a proper breastfeeding done? I'm not sure if
We
that
do
is
give
right.
certain medications to improve the breast milk, but then whatever that we give is not something that would cause weight gain. So as it is, what happens to a woman's appetite increases, especially when they are feeding. Their calorie requirement is more, especially when they're breastfeeding. So probably when women don't really give attention to what they're eating, because there's a lot on their mind when they're breastfeeding. It's taking care of the baby, taking care of their work, taking care of the house, and ultimately it's more of a social pressure on women saying that they have to do it all and they have to do it right, which I think is very unfair to us think. So I don't think that is a reason for her to have put on weight. There must have been some other underlying cause for that, for which she'll have to get treated for the underlying cause.
Okay. One follow-up question. Yeah, sure. So this is regarding how long one should breastfeed. I have seen mothers who are still breastfeeding till 4 years of their kiddos, right? So
4 years is not something we recommend. So
yeah.
pediatricians advise up to 2 years. So, but I usually say, because now the kids are super smart, they come with a sort of super brain already when they are born. And I would advise anywhere between 1 to 2 years. 2 years is the max, is what we would advise, not up to 4.
Thank you.
Welcome. So, thank you all. I hope there was some knowledge gained, and I hope it did help you in certain ways. Thank you for having me here. I think I love the way how you completely led the audience.